This is The Brief, where policy meets business. From City Hall to the state capitol to Washington, D.C., we break down the issues impacting jobs, growth, infrastructure, and opportunity right here in Corpus Christi.
Ah, yeah!
Perfect, good job.
Harder than it looks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Ready? Okay. Welcome to The Brief, where we talk about issues that affect the business community at the local, state, and federal level. I'm Ginny Cross. I'm the VP of Advocacy for the United Corpus Christi Chamber of Commerce. And today we are joined by Greg Smith, who is the coastal representative on the TWIA, Texas Windstorm Insurance Association Board of Directors. Welcome, Greg.
Thank you, Jenny. Glad to be here.
So you and I have been fighting the TWIA wars for well over a decade.
That's right. We don't want to be counting those years.
That's right. I was a young lass when I first started that, and here I am today, and still, amazing.
Yes.
You have now gone to the dark side. You are now an appointee of the insurance commissioner, representing our community at this really important board that a lot of people don't really know about, but has a lot of impact on our local economy and the affordability of homes and business insurance and many other things.
Right, and it's a big expense item. A lot of people with TWIA insurance or Windstorm insurance pay more for insurance than they do on their property tax for their homes. So it's a very big cost of living issue.
Absolutely. So, stunningly, at your December meeting, I didn't have to, create a rally and bring 250 people to a meeting and, shout and hold signs and insist that you do not raise rates. Tell me what happened. It's like half of my job just went away.
Yeah, that's great, isn't it? Now you have more time to enjoy the beach.
Absolutely.
TWIA is a child of the legislature, so the laws affect how they operate. And there were some big changes that took place, became effective, and actually drove the operating cost of TWIA down. So that ease the pressure for rate increases. The insurance companies always want to raise rates, or TWIA to raise rates on there, but with these new changes on there that help the financials of TWIA out on it, made the difference.
And isn't one of the things that happened in the event of a hurricane or a wind event, the rates, there's a fee or something that gets spread around all policies in the state? Is that correct? Probably not saying that exactly right.
Yes, so it's called the funding stack on there. So in case we have a named storm, how it's paid for out there, what the legislature changed was the funding stack. And part of that funding stack, if the losses exceed X amount on there, then the insurance companies will have to come in and supplement that amount. So we had some changes. They have the ability to spread that risk across the state. It's absolutely nominal. When you and I were working on it, I remember one thing I said is the cost of Whataburgers and a fry. That would be the additional cost across the state on there. Is about $5 per policy at the time. With it to spread the risk. And one thing for folks out there that aren't familiar with TWIA, we have two classes of insurance. We have the 14 coastal counties where your windstorm is separate from your ordinary policy, and then we have the rest of the state, the other 240 counties on there. So we're split out, we're treated differently on there. That a lot of times, say in your car insurance on there, you have a big hailstorm in Dallas, that's figured in your Corpus Christi rates on your car insurance. But what we've advocated for is we're a state, we're unified. Why is the coast a second-class citizen in the insurance realm? But these last legislative changes have reflected that.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And again, like I said, I don't have anything to do anymore.
There's nothing better than being at a public meeting and not have the torches and pitchforks come out.
Right.
Being on both sides of that table.
Right on, right
Yeah.
on. So now that you're on the board, what has surprised you? What have been the things that you weren't expecting?
Not a whole lot with it. I guess the biggest thing was the change in reinsurance on there with it, which was a legislative change on there, and it changes the whole dynamics of the financials. So that would be probably the biggest on there, where before TWIA's largest expense, everything else was paying for reinsurance. And what is reinsurance? Is TWIA is taking its risk and selling it off or purchasing insurance. It's insurance on top of insurance, reinsurance. With it's very expensive on there. It was over half of the budget. So think about it, policyholders, when you give TWIA $1.51 in 24 went to purchase reinsurance. Now that cost is down substantially.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
And it sounds like it's a more responsible way of doing business.
It is. It's more cost effective. What we were seeing was a giant sucking sound of reinsurance companies sucking Texas dollars out, coastal dollars out, and sending them to Bermuda, London, Zurich, any place but Texas, and any place really than the United States. Most of that's international.
Interesting.
And as I look at it from a financial side with it, that about every dollar that TWIA sent for reinsurance over the long run, they should expect to get 40 cents paid back.
Wow.
Yeah. So 60 cents is just lost in the vapor.
Wow. Yeah, that sounds like a terrible deal.
Yeah, it is. Oh.
All right. So is there anything that policyholders should be looking for or be made aware of?
A couple of big things on there. One, watch your deductible. If you're looking, you're saying, gosh, I can't afford this, check your deductible out with it. The other thing is TWIA automatically adjusts your policy for inflation every year.
Mm-hmm.
And you can say, no, I don't think my house has gone up 5% or whatever the amount is on there, because then your premiums go up 5%. You say, no, I think that value, you take a soft market like we've got now, the value's not going up, that I declined your new assessment on there or your new valuation. And so the valuation increase is going to take place and the only way it doesn't is if you deny it. You have to deny it, otherwise it automatically goes in place.
Oh, interesting. I had no idea that policyholders had any control over that.
Oh, they do
Interesting.
with it, yeah. And then the last thing, just as far as damage on there, there's nothing more important than your roof. And for TWIA, whether you have windstorm or not, a large claim starts at a roof failure. So if you have a roof failure on there, you get moisture penetration through your roof on there, the cost of that claim is going to triple. So the water damage on there, and being here, let's forget the costs on there. You don't want to have that damage in the first place. There's nothing more trying on you than having to get the contractors out, get your new furniture, get everything else. And I'm a big believer in having the best roof that you can possibly have, because that's where your damage starts.
That makes a lot of sense. And people probably don't want to think about their roofs.
No, they don't. You're going, oh gosh, I don't want to pay for that more expensive shingle with it. Why? But when it comes down to a storm, whether it's a hailstorm or windstorm or what, your damage generally starts at your roof.
Interesting. Well, very good. Anything else you want us to know?
Well, one time we had that little Portland hailstorm, and last year TWIA financially, I mean, they were trucking along building up their reserves and everything you want, and this kind of pop-up storm that went through Portland came through there. The cost on that was $120 million.
Wow.
TWIA paid $120 million claims out for this storm that hit this 15,000 population city. And we didn't have any damage in Corpus, but yeah.
Yeah, it did. It just hit
Yeah.
the car damage, too.
The car damage on there, and
Outrageous.
we had hurricane impact windows because you had this hail coming in from the side actually broke those windows.
Wow.
But so TWIA does cover more than just hurricanes on there, anything wind related with it. Another thing, folks, on there is if you have a claim, the quicker you get your claim in, the better. Particularly in a catastrophic storm on there, don't wait around. Because just in the nature of claims with it, that being the top of the list on there, because you have such a massive amounts. TWIA has about 300 contract claims personnel that will come in case of a storm, but they're contract people. They travel around. They don't know the area with it. So being first there, you usually get a faster resolution.
Very good. That's good advice. I remember during Harvey, it seemed like the claims adjuster, the person they sent out to your house, there was just a wild variety of differences of what some people had covered and what other people were like, hey, wait a minute, why aren't you covering this? I mean, the example is my mom's friend's Martin house was covered. It's like,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you have the contract adjusters
Yeah.
that are coming out there. They have guidelines that they work on, but everybody's in a big hurry. So there is some gap in there and what is and what isn't. And for example, in my case, I have a business in Port Aransas, and we had 14 structures that were damaged. And once we went and settled up on the claims with it, I thought we were underpaid in some areas and we were overpaid in others. And I was close enough. It's a wash.
right.
So,
Yep, at the end of the day.
At the end of the day.
Well, thank you so much, Greg, for joining us. It's been educational for me as well, even though, like I said, we've been working this issue for a really long time.
Long time.
But I feel like we're in a good place finally.
We're in a very good place, and I have to thank our legislative delegation. Chairman Todd Hunter has always been the number one priority for him, Adam Hinojosa, Chewy Hinojosa in the Senate, and then Mays Middleton, who represents the Galveston area with it. Thank you so very much for making these changes that
Yes.
reduce the pressure for price increases and may at some point in time allow for a price decrease.
What?
Yeah. Now, don't hold your breath.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Super exciting. No, but you are absolutely right. Our legislative delegation has been tremendous on this issue.
Yeah.
It's done the heavy lifting. Well, thank you again for joining us, and hopefully, you've got an open invitation. If there's anything you ever need to alert people about, welcome back anytime.
Okay. Thank you so much, Jenny.
You bet.
Take care.